one more time, you're welcome. We've concluded data gathering. So now let's move to analyzing of the data we've gathered. So this will be on data analysis, analyzing the data. Okay, so like I said in the previous section, or in the previous class rather, we've not provided an in-depth data analysis course in this program, but we just provided the steps needed to be able to conduct a feasibility study. However, in data analysis, while conducting feasibility study, it mustn't be you in particular to do the data analysis. Remember I said, conducting feasibility study is a teamwork. So within your team, you should have people who have the capacity to do what? Analyze data using statistical tools. All right, so let's move on and see what we have here. By introduction, analyzing data is a crucial step in conducting a feasibility study as it provides insight into the viability of a proposed project. It allows for an examination of potential risks, costs, and benefits, and it helps to determine whether the project is financially and operationally feasible. By carefully analyzing the data, stakeholders can make informed decisions and determine the best course of action for moving forward. So primarily, data analysis will help us to have a good view of all the data being collected, and then helping the investors, the stakeholders, to make the right direction or the right decision in the right direction. Now, what are the processes involved in the analyzing of data? The first thing is to organize the data that you have already collected and organize the data in the way they are supposed to be. So let the data be in the different categories that they've been collected, let them be organized in such categories. So you have market data, you put them in the market data. You have the operational feasibility data, you put them there. Technical feasibility, put them there. So all of the data need to be well organized and well segmented. The next process is identifying the patterns, So identifying patterns is also very, very important. By the time you analyze, perhaps by the time you organize your data into different categories, you will be able to see how the patterns are going. Okay, you'll be able to see how the patterns are going. So is the market going up? Is the market going down in terms of the marketing data? The technical feasibility data, is it something we can do or is it something we cannot do? So you understand patterns, the risks involved in the market, you also get to see in the business, you get to see in the project, you get to see, and then that will help you. Then one of the things you also want to do is to compare data. One of the essence of comparing data is to create benchmarks, right? Is to have benchmarks on what need to be done. So you're comparing the data you have to the industry benchmarks and trying to make some level of acceptance, or some level of rejections, or some level of upgrades, or some level of modification on the existing data you've gathered. Okay, the important in comparing data is making sure that what you have is in tandem with what industry standards are. At least let what you have be in tandem with what industry standards are. And then the next thing you want to deal with is evaluating the risks. Okay, evaluating the risks. You have gathered the data. Yes, you organize the data. You have identified the patterns. You've made your comparison. So what you want to now do is evaluate the risks associated, or the risks that the data is showing you, you evaluate them. Okay, and be sure that that's really what you want to go into or not. Okay, now that we are dealing with data, it's no longer a thing of should I or should I not. It's no longer a thing of maybe or maybe not. It's no longer a thing of I'm sure, I'm not sure. The data before you will help you make those decisions on whether you want to go in or not. So you're not going to sit on the fence, provided you have some realistic data before you. You're not going to sit on the fence. Rather, you're going to have information to help you take decisions. Okay, and then the next step will be to assess feasibility. Just like I said, is this something you're going to go in or not? Okay, is this something you want to go in or not? Is this something you want to go in or not? Okay, is this something that is feasible or not feasible? The data will help you show you those things in clear terms. Okay, then you have identifying the strengths and weaknesses associated with the data. The strengths and weaknesses will be very obvious. So if you check your the information you collected from your competitor, the market in terms of competitor analytics, you'll be able to say whether your competitors are on the right path, whether you can outsmart them or not. Okay, so you compare what the market tells you about your competitors, compare it with what you can do, okay, or what your team can do, and then that could help also. And then the next thing there is considering alternatives. Having seen the strengths and weaknesses, it's now there for you to consider alternatives, how to approach the market, how to go about the project. All right. Okay, now key reminders as we round up. Use reliable and accurate data sources when gathering data, at least. Identify key assumptions and constraints that may impact the analytics of your data. Very, very important. Use appropriate analytical tools and techniques to analyze your data. Evaluate the project objectively and consider potential biases. Interpret the results and draw meaningful conclusions. Document the analysis and results thoroughly, and then review and validate the analysis to ensure its accuracy and completeness. Review and validate. Okay, so by reviewing, you can review with your team, you can review with other experts. And the essence is to validate that the analysis is sure. Okay, the accuracy and the completeness of the data gets to be validated. Then you can go ahead and use such in your work. Then communicate the findings clearly to the stakeholders. Communicate the findings clearly to the stakeholders. Okay, so now that we've gone through the processes involved in analysis of data, let's move on to evaluating financial feasibility. Thank you and see you in the next class.